Day in the month of May, a burly bum come a-hiking. He was walking down the lane through the sugar cane. He was looking for his liking. And as he strolled along, he sang a song of the land of middle can of honey.
Welcome to this episode of Junk Food on the Road. Today we are talking about
Laos.
Yes, or what they call now Lao PDR, Lao People's Democratic Republic, since 1975.
I didn't know that.
But colloquially, it's still known as Laos.
Laos.
Yeah.
So we've been to Laos twice.
Yes. Two different towns and cities.
Yeah, two different. One was the capital, which is Vientiane, and one which is sort of the more touristy destination of what's it called again?
Lao PDR.
The
name of the city. Luang Prabang.
Luang Prabang. So we went to Vientiane because we had some friends that were visiting there, and at the time, as we're recording this, we actually don't live in Cambodia anymore.
But we were living
in Cambodia at the time, and that's actually it's a hop, skip, and a jump to Laos.
Especially to Vientiane.
Yeah, especially to Vientiane. So our friends were visiting, so we decided just to hang out with them for like a long weekend type thing.
Yeah, I think we flew in Friday night and flew out Sunday morning.
Something like that, yeah. But yeah, and then the other time we went just literally on the cusp of COVID breaking all over the world, and that was our last sort of real trip.
Yeah, before we undertook the flight back to Canada.
Which will be another episode of this in the future.
Yeah.
We're going to sort of discuss that. But no, Laos was sort of, it was just closing up. We at the time, things were looking a little rough, and we knew that we were going to have a busy time. We also knew that we were going to be moving away from Cambodia back to Canada. And so we decided that one of the things we wanted to do in Asia was go bathe elephants in a charity place. And Laos offers that opportunity where they have these reserves where old working elephants get kept after they've retired. And you can just sit there and bathe them. You can't ride them. There's no it's very sort of cruelty-free. The idea is simply just you walk with an elephant and then you bathe it and you hang out with it, and it's kind of fun.
And you feed it like natural foods like
bananas
and leaves and stuff.
Yeah.
And you sort of get up close and personal with the elephants, and you drink this really nice bush tea that they had.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. And this is sort of snack food related, but for elephants love bananas.
Oh my God, do they love bananas.
You can buy these bunches of bananas, and the minute you get it, they come like running at you.
They know you have them, and they're just like...
They're like puppies.
Unless you sort of like keep one kind of behind you, and you just tear them off the bunch one at a time, they'll just like take the whole thing and like just eat it in front of you.
And they are like puppies.
They are like puppies.
Like an elephant is just like a puppy that could crush you with one step.
Yeah. But they don't.
They don't. But they sort of, they rub up against you.
I suppose there have been cases of it happening.
But yeah, elephants, they rub up against you. They like to explore. And the one thing I would say is, as far as keeping treats from an elephant, it's a lot harder because they do have a trunk.
Yeah.
So if you hold it behind your back, they can sort of, come up close to you and then reach around and grab it anyway.
Yeah, they're pretty good. And they're pretty imposing. Like, these were Asian elephants, of course, so smaller than African elephants, which I don't think are quite as puppy-like as the Asian elephants. But, it's they really wanted, they can just take it.
Yeah, but they didn't. They were actually pretty good. And, obviously, to me, that I felt like they were well taken care of because they were just, they weren't aggressive at all about it. They were playful, but they weren't aggressive about anything, and they were obviously very well fed, so.
Yeah. So elephant junk food, bananas.
Junk food so let's talk about Laos. I mean, I think probably the number one thing that we ate in Laos ever has to be at this tiny little cafe that's in Vientiane. And I don't remember the name of it offhand, and, that's fine. You can probably look it up. But there's this little cafe that sells, what was it?
It was mango pancakes.
Mango pancakes and coconut
coffee.
Coconut coffee.
Like, it was coffee, I guess, like made a special way with coconut milk. And oh my God, it was so good. The pancakes were amazing. The coffee was... When we went back, I was kind of sad we weren't going to Vientiane because I wanted to try and find that place again. Because that was just... the most amazing meal.
If you go to TripAdvisor in Vientiane, this little cafe that's like down an alleyway, it literally is like you go between a couple of buildings into this little alleyway.
And you sit in the alleyway. There's like motorcycles like brushing past you.
But it is like one of the #1 restaurants in Vientiane.
Oh, I didn't know it was there on Trip. I didn't know you had found it on TripAdvisor.
Yeah, it's on TripAdvisor. It's like one of the #1 places. Like it's like the place you have to eat in Vientiane, and it's just this little cafe, and it's like very popular and amazing, and well deserving. And I mean, I don't like coffee, so I don't know, Allison. What was the coffee like?
The coffee was amazing. I craved it for the for months.
Did it taste like
afterwards.
coconut? Did it?
I don't like coconut very much, but that's because I grew up in a country that only has desiccated, shredded coconut, and I really don't like that. So it didn't taste like that at all, but it just had this nice sort of natural creamy flavor to it.
That's what I find a good thing about Southeast Asia is coconut is a different beast. Because I guess the freshness and also the sort of amount of it, it's not like a special thing or something that has to be preserved. It's something that's so common that it is almost a lot of Asian stuff. The two flavors you get from coconut are a nutty flavor, but also a creamy flavor. It's like a creamy nut in a lot of things that I find in Asia. And that's why it's actually better. I find if you treat a coconut like that, if you treat it like this sort of overly sweet thing, it never works. But if you treat it creamy and nutty, it's so good. And I guess that's an example of it.
Is it Bacan Cafe?
Maybe.
Bacan Cafe. It's hard. I'm looking on TripAdvisor right now.
Okay.
And none of the pictures are just of food.
Okay.
So I can't really, because like the location, if I saw what it looked like, I'd be able to find it. But I'm just seeing plates of food.
No, that's unimportant.
It had a fantastic bathroom too.
Yeah, the bathroom there is like half the reason to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean that's definitely one of the things. I would say the other thing, we actually had a meal in Lang Prabang.
Well, can I talk about Vientiane for one other thing?
Yeah, sure.
We found just this like small restaurant downtown where we were staying, and I discovered that in Cambodia I can't eat proper amok, because even if you get the chicken amok, it's a traditional Cambodian dish. It's made with fish sauces, and I'm allergic to fish and seafood, like really badly allergic to fish and seafood. And so when we went to Laos, and I've had vegetarian amok in Cambodia, which they're more careful with, but in Laos they had a chicken amok on the menu in this little restaurant we went to, not the pancake one. And I asked if they could make a version without any fish sauce or seafood sauce. And the lady just basically laughed and she goes, "We're in Laos. We don't do that here. It naturally comes without, like, because Cambodia is like both coastal and has a big lake with a lot of fish. Laos is very, very landlocked and doesn't even have big lakes. It has the Mekong River. But it doesn't have that sort of fishy tradition that Cambodia does. And so it was absolutely delicious. I actually got to eat an amok with meat in it without getting sick, and it was really amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. And it came in bamboo leaves, and it was really...
So the more traditional style of it. Yeah, that's cool.
It was really nice.
Yeah, amok is one of those dishes. I've had the seafood one, and I've had vegetable one, and I think I had some of that chicken one too, and it's a really interesting dish. Again, I think it has coconut in it. I think it has that sort of creamy.
I think it does.
It's sort of like a curry. The best way to describe an amok is it's like a style of curry.
Yeah.
You know.
It's just, and there's the smoothies in Laos were also always
exceptional.
In Vientiane.
Yeah, always.
I don't think we had any in Luang Prabang.
The thing about the one thing you got to say about Laos is there's a chain of coffee places.
Yes. Joma
Cafe. Now, they had them in Cambodia for a while, but they left. But they have them in Laos. It originated in Laos. It's a Canadian thing, so I'm going to tout it a little bit. But I'm going to tout it with not just the fact that it's Canadian, but it's actually a great little cafe. There's a whole bunch of them. And we've been to a few of them. I think we went to one in Vientiane, or at least we saw one. And then we went to one, definitely, when we went to Luang Prabang. And man, it's classic cafe stuff. I mean, if you're looking for sort of Lao specialties, you're not really going to find it there, except for the fact that their smoothies are great. But if you're looking for just good pastries in that area, you know, I guess it gets a bit of the French influence from France. Allison's showing me something right now. What is it called?
It's called Kung's Cafe.
Kung's Cafe. That's the name of that.
It's number 21 right now.
Okay, well, it was rated number 1 for a while. But Kung's Cafe, that's where you got to go if you're in
for the pancakes and the coconut coffee.
Yeah. But Joma is just it's an amazing place, and
there's like 2 or 3 of them in Luang Prabang.
Yeah.
And if you fly Lao Airlines, they give you a Joma sandwich.
Yeah, so Joma's really popular there, and the cool thing is it's very sort of traditional sort of stuff that you find at a cafe. So if you're just like hanging out, say you're kind of getting sick of Asian food, which happens on a trip,
or if you want to like have somebody make something for you that you can pack
to
take with you on a hike or whatever.
But it's generally more North America. Like it's scary. If you're sort of a little bit scared of food, like if you're thinking, I don't want to eat this weird amok. What's amok? I'm terrified.
Their wraps are fantastic.
Their sandwiches are good. The wraps are good. And we had a cinnamon bun, which was really good.
That's right.
That cinnamon bun was fantastic. So it's like, it's got good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I would just eat there.
I don't know about in Laos, but in Cambodia, when we still had them in Cambodia, the Nanaimo bars were terrible. I wouldn't do the Nanaimo bars.
Yeah, but the fact that you can get a Nanaimo bar in Southeast Asia, kind of amazing.
Kind of cool, but really not very good.
Not great.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to talk about, there was a restaurant. I found in general that Luang Prabang, like the restaurants were neat.
They were neat. I mean, we weren't there for very long. I think we flew in on a Saturday afternoon and we left on Monday morning or something.
Well, we went to this one restaurant and had just an amazing meal.
Amazing. And it was empty when we got there. It was full by the time we left. But
this was the beginning of COVID, and COVID had hit those areas. Yeah. So it's like...
Well, I mean, Laos had a total of 19 cases.
But like,
forever.
Like the tourist, the whole tourist run there. Laos doesn't get a lot of tourism as it is. It kind of gets... people that are, if you're going to Vietnam or if you're going to Cambodia,
it's like a tour part of a stop kind of thing.
Yeah, like very rare that it's a destination for people. So, and because other places in the area were starting to suffer and starting to close down, Laos was suffering because we went to this place that's normally a huge tourist town and it was empty.
Yeah. There weren't many people.
But so we went to this restaurant, and I can't remember what it was called, but like it was this quiet thing. They had it was one of the few times I've ever eaten in a restaurant, and the music was great.
The music was great. It wasn't too loud. It wasn't too soft.
Yep, we were enjoying, and it was good.
And
like this,
we were like singing along with some of the songs they were playing. Like it was, I don't know if it was a service or just like a tape or whatever.
Yeah. But then the servers, there was lots of them, but they were never like hovering over you.
Yeah, like sometimes in Southeast Asia, you find that they'll stand like 3 feet from your table and just stare at you the whole time.
Yeah.
You know?
And this thing, I had this wrap thing that was just these like soft wraps that you soak in water.
Yeah, like Chris had to make his own dinner kind of thing.
And then but it was so good. Like there was the freshest, like crunchiest vegetables.
It was like this hard rice paper that you had to put in your bowl of water, and then you would take it out and then put all of your things inside of it and then roll it up. And it was like paper thin.
Yeah, and it came with, I think it was a peanut sauce that it came with that was like amazing.
Peanut sauce is really good.
And just like the thing that was really good about it is a lot of like shredded vegetables that are like, you know, maybe things you wouldn't get in North America, but really just nice and fresh since it wasn't cooked. I was just able to eat it it was like a salad, but really interesting flavors. And since you could make it yourself, you didn't like something, you just leave it out. It was so good.
And I don't remember what I got, but I remember it being fantastic.
Remember dessert?
Dessert was unbelievable. Best deep fried bananas I've ever had.
I know. I've had deep fried bananas a few times. The only bananas I would say that go closest, there was a Chinese food restaurant in Toronto that had really good deep fried bananas, but that could just be my childhood.
Yeah, that happens.
Ringing, but these deep fried bananas were exceptional.
They were.
Exceptional. Amazingly good.
I remember we got 2 different desserts and we shared them, I think. Or did we just
No,
get
we just got the deep fried we just got the deep fried bananas.
Because the portions were really good.
Yes, yeah.
Like there was just enough room to like share a small plate of deep fried bananas.
These deep fried bananas were amazing though. They were breaded, just enough breaded.
Yeah.
Just enough so it's like it gives you that nice crunchy and everything like that, but it doesn't like it's not like a bunch of dough with a little piece of banana. And of course, bananas, Southeast Asia, you get those creamy bananas. Warm them up a little bit. Oh my God!
I'm sure we've talked about Southeast Asian and other tropical climate bananas before, but just a reminder that they don't pick them green and then ship them somewhere to ripen somewhere on a grocery shelf. They pick them after they've ripened.
Yes, and ripened to them
makes a difference.
Like it's kind of a black skin. Like sometimes the skin's kind of black and dotted. Like they're not pretty a lot of the times.
No. But I mean, when they pick them, they're probably perfectly yellow, and then by the time they get to wherever they're going, they've gotten a couple of spots.
But I've even.
But it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's so good.
Because they haven't been brutalized on the way to where they're going. I mean, we've eaten bananas directly off of a tree practically before, and it's no difference than the ones that you get like the next day. So good.
Like fresh bananas ripened on the tree are just an experience to have.
Yeah.
And they wreck you for regular bananas.
And for the pedantic among you, we do know that it's a banana plant, not a banana tree.
Banana's actually an herb.
Is it an herb?
It's an herb.
And it's not a tree, that's for sure.
Yeah, apparently it's technically an herb.
Huh, interesting.
So, but it's so good. It's really good.
Yeah.
You know, amazing.
And so deep fry something that was, tree ripened.
You know what it is? It's a restaurant that got a quality ingredient and let that shine.
Yeah.
And that's what this place did. That was one of the things about this thing. I think you got like a garlic chicken or something like that.
It was something amazing.
Yeah.
I just remember thinking, this is like, I'm in the backwoods of nowhere in like the smallest country, least developed country in Southeast Asia, and I'm eating this meal?
Yeah.
Like, wow.
And the environment, it felt like something Disney could make to make you feel like you're in a perfect place. Like, it was so perfect.
Yeah.
They had a bookshelf.
Well, it's a World Heritage Site, I think.
They had a bookshelf with, like, travel books on it that we could flip through, and we did that. That's like, right. There was just all this awesome stuff. Like, it's an amazing town. Yeah. Laos should...
And the restaurant didn't really look like much from the outside.
No.
But it was in an historical building, though, which was kind of cool. And you had to take a few steps down onto a little patio, and then you went in. And
I'm going to say this in general. We never had a bad experience in Laos. Every time we sort of think to ourselves, okay, Laos is going to be okay, but then we go there and it always blows us away. When COVID lifts and everybody can leave, put Laos on your places to go list. You will not be disappointed.
We actually had some friends that were coming to visit us in Cambodia, and they might be listening. Hi, guys. And they were thinking about other places that they wanted to go. They were going to Vietnam, and then they were like, oh, do we go to Singapore? Do we go to Bangkok? I've been to Bangkok before, but Singapore sounds expensive. And we're like, have you considered Laos? And they said, oh, well, we'll look into it. And then they had the best time. It was the best part of their trip.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an amazing place. And why it isn't the number one, like, we've been to Chiang Mai, which is a big place that people like in Thailand, and that, in that sort of vein of like, oh, well, it's kind of more small town, it's not Bangkok or something like that, right? We've been to places in Cambodia, like small towns that people consider it. None compare to Laos. Like, every single time we go to Laos, we love it.
Yeah. I mean, Siem Reap in Cambodia is very nice.
Siem Reap is awesome, and the temples are amazing.
Yeah.
But, like, Laos is a place you should not skip. And Laos is a reason to go to Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
You could spend 2 weeks in Laos and love it.
And you can fly directly to Luang Prabang from quite a few places, and Vientiane.
The only thing I'll say is the airports there kind of suck.
Yeah, but they're not horrible.
Yeah.
Like, they're not... They're small, and they don't have a lot of amenities. But they're not, like...
No, they're not, like, awful, but...
Yeah, they're not, like, filthy or... They
look like kind of okay bus stations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's small, right?
Yeah.
So.
But Laos, amazing. And you know what? I'm hoping millions of people listen to this. Millions of people go to Laos and they can afford to improve their airports.
And if you want to learn about the history of Laos in a very entertaining way, there's a series of books called Dr. Siri...
I'll just look up Dr. Siri.
Look up Dr. Siri, Dr. Siri Murder Mysteries. And it's like totally fictionalized, but it gives you sort of a picture of what Laos was like in the late 70s.
If you're listening to this on YouTube, I'll put a link to an Amazon thing. You can pick one up.
Yeah.
Pick up the books there. So.
Also available at some libraries, even in ebook format.
Buy it on Amazon.
They do have a number of his books on Amazon. The author's name is Colin Cotterill.
So, yeah. So, you know what, Laos, I'm going to say this. I mean, the fact that we didn't do this the first time we went to Laos but I'm glad we're waiting because it cemented it. Like, we thought just maybe Vientiane was just the exception, but we went to 2 places in Laos.
It's charming.
It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful.
And food, yummy.
Never had a bad meal there.
Never had a bad meal there.
Never. It's just...
Bad coffee.
But then the best coffee, too.
But then the really good coffee. But in the hotel, like the hotel breakfast, the coffee was terrible. They use Arabica beans, which sort of makes it taste like sort of weird cocoa chocolatey coffee.
I mean, that might be your thing.
It's not good.
hold off and just get the mango pancakes.
Go to whatever the Krug's Cafe, or we found it.
Go to the cafe and get yourself.
And get the coconut coffee.
So I think that's enough. I think we're good.
Kung's Cafe.
Kung's Cafe.
Yeah, I think that's everything. I think we've probably been repeating ourselves.
Yeah, but Laos, it's a great place to visit. And thanks for listening to another episode of Junk Food on the Road. As always, you can follow us on Twitter @CandyCritic, or go to candycritic.org and find links to all of our other social media, including Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, even. You can go to candycritic.org, or you can go to candycritic.org. I'm going to try that again. You can go to patreon.com/candycritic, and if you follow us there, you get a bunch of bonus stuff, including maybe some of the outtakes from this one, which we had a false start, which might be kind of fun.
Please don't do that.
And then now I'm going to have to.
No, you don't.
On Patreon? Come on, there are people that give us money. Then also on Patreon, we have a new thing going right now. We have a thing called Snack Facts. It's a mini comic that I'm doing. If you follow us on Patreon, depending on the tier you follow on, you can actually get downloads. So you get to download. You can get the monthly issues. You can get access to our library, depending on the tier. And if you go high enough tier, you'll actually get physical copies. And I will sign every copy that goes to a patron that goes up to that level that gets the copy sent to them. So make sure to follow us on that. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Summer's day in the month of May, a burly bum come a-hiking. He was walking down the lane through the sugar cane. He was looking for his liking. And as he strolled along, he sang a song of the land of middle can honey, where a bum can stay for many a day and he won't need any money. Rock Candy Mountain, there's a land that's fair and bright. The handouts grow but the hushes, and they sleep out every night. Where the boxcars all are empty, sun shines every day. I'm a-going away where there ain't no snow or the sleet don't fall at the wind, don't blow on the big rock candy mountain, on the big rock candy mountain. Hey! That's enough of that. That's enough. Whoa, 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 whoa. On the big rock candy mountain, you never have to change your socks. And little streams of alcohol come a-trickling through the rocks. All the railroad bulls at the tip of their hats, and the railroad bulls are all blind. There's a little lake of stew and a whiskey too. You can paddle all around it in your big canoe on the big rock candy mountain. On the big rock candy mountain. Hey! That's enough. That's enough. Big rock candy mountain, all the jails are made of tin, and you can bust right out again as soon as they toss you in. There ain't no sword and no shovels, axes, saws, or blades. Where they hung on a nail the inventor of a jail. Where they hung the jerk who invented work. Where they boiled in oil the inventor of toil. Where they hung on a nail, the inventor of a jail on a big rock, Candy Mountain, one on the big rock, Candy Mountain, on the big rock, Candy Mountain, play. Cigarette trees and a soda water fountain where the bluebird sings and the lemonade springs. Up on the big rock candy mountain, on that big rock candy mountain, on the big rock candy mountain. Whoa. On the big rock, Candy Mountain.